I thought Mr. Clutter was a nice gentleman. I thought so right up to the moment I cut his throat. This chilling quote comes from Truman Capote's In Cold Blood, the book we're going to talk about today. It is the story of the Clutter family murders, which occurred in Kansas in 1959. The book was published in 1965, and Mr. Capote was very, you might say, obsessed with this story. It is the second best-selling true crime book. Number one is Helter Skelter, about the Manson family by Vincent Bugliosi. The reason I sort of hesitated when I said true crime, just said book, it's not exactly nonfiction. He calls it fictionalized nonfiction. In other words, it's based on a true story, but he took considerable liberties to make it read like a novel. And it was a bit of a page-turner, that is true. This story is told in two parallel storylines. One storyline follows the family. Decent, good people, just going about doing work on their farm, helping their neighbors. Just an ordinary day that they did not realize would be their last. And the other parallel storyline is the story of the killers. That would be Dick Hickok and Perry Smith, two career criminals. One, Dick Hickok, was raised in a normal family. His parents loved him. He was married a few times and had some kids, and there was really no abuse in his family or anything like that. He just turned to crime. Perry Smith is a different case. He had a crazy upbringing. His parents met each other on the rodeo circuit. His mother was an Indian, full-blooded Indian, and his dad was wild. So Perry was mistreated a bit, as the story goes. So as the Clutter family is going about their daily work, the story switches over to telling us what the Hickok and Smith are busy doing. They're busy getting their car ready because they're getting ready to drive to Kansas to burglarize a house they know about. It turns out it was the Clutter house. So they go in, they sneak in a office door, and they're there looking for a safe that they had been told about, and they were told there was $10,000 in the safe. That's a lot of money back in 1959. And if they could get in and get out without running into anybody, that would be all right, but they planned to kill any witnesses. And Hickok had some bad plans for the Clutter daughter, Nancy, if he came across her. The next day, the next morning, people are getting ready to go to church. Some young people come by the house. They're going to get a ride to church. These are church-going people in this town. And nobody's there. They can't find anybody. The car is there. Nobody's around. So they go into the house and they find the bodies. The Clutter family, they were killed by shotgun blast to their heads. The police come, and they are of the opinion that it must be somebody local. It's about somebody close to the Clutters. This wreaked havoc in this little town of Holcomb. Very few people lived there. So if they were basically told that the killer was one of them. So who you sit next to in church? Are you the one that killed the Clutter family? So this is very hard in this little town. Now, the criminals are found, and this is how. In jail, where Dick Hickok was a prisoner, his cellmate was a fellow named Floyd. And they're chatting away, talking about their past lives, their exploits. And Floyd tells Dick about a farm he worked at years ago in Kansas, the Clutter family farm. And he liked Mr. Clutter, but he knew that Mr. Clutter had a safe and he had $10,000 kept on hand at all times. This is false information, but he thought it was true. Well, when Dick Hickok hears this, the first thing he says is, oh, when I get out, that's where I'm going. I'm going to get my friend Perry, and we're going to burglarize that house and get that money. And Floyd claims he didn't believe him. I don't know. But after the crimes are committed and Floyd hears the news, he knows it's his old cellmate, Dick, who was the killer. And eventually, after a few weeks, he works up the nerve to tell the police. He didn't want to be a snitch, but he tells the police. And with this information, they are eventually able to catch Dick and Perry in Las Vegas. Now, there were very few clues left at the scene. The only ones, really, were shoe prints, which were only visible in photographs. So these two probably thought they left no clues. But when they caught them coming out of a hotel in Las Vegas, Perry has this big box of his possessions. This box is discussed at great length in this book, and in it were the shoes that matched the footprints. So they had a short trial. They were convicted. They got the death sentence, and after 5 years of appeals, they were hanged. So if that's all there was to the story, it would only take about 100 pages maybe, or maybe a 1 hour true crime, a YouTube channel episode. But this book has how many pages? Well, not so many, about 340. So what fills it all up? Well, Truman Capote was totally fascinated by one of the killers. He was fascinated by Perry Smith, who was kind of a bizarre character. He was very short. He had crippled legs because he was in a motorcycle accident actually. And he carried this big box of junk around with him wherever he went, which was his downfall. So this fills up a lot of the book. I don't know about you, but I'm not too interested in the contents of a box owned by a murderer. I don't really feel that talking on and on about the thoughts and ideas and songs and poetry, all that, of a murderer is anything that I'm really all that interested in. So there are problems with this book. A lot of people see problems with it. For one thing, it's this non-fiction fiction novel, which allows for Truman Capote to arrange all the events in the order he wants them told to enhance his story. He has invented language. There's no way that the conversations these people are having with each other, there's no way Truman Capote could have known this. Now, it is possible that he spent a lot of time when Perry Smith was in jail, on death row actually. He spent a lot of time talking with him. And he may have had a general idea of some of these conversations, but these conversations were inserted to give the book more of a feel of a novel. And people who knew the family, the Clutter family, say that Truman Capote mischaracterized a lot of people, that the wife Bonnie wasn't as wackadoodle as he made her out to be. She's just a bit depressed. And the two daughters who weren't even home, they don't figure in the book hardly at all. It's like he ignored them because they didn't add to the excitement of the novel, maybe. Truman Capote himself was, let's just say, flamboyant. And he was close friends with Harper Lee, the woman who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. They were best friends. And while I don't really like this book very much, I have to admit he has a way with words. He's written some short stories that are well written. Maybe you're familiar with A Christmas Memory, which is the story of him in Louisiana living with an elder, slightly batty cousin who every Christmas bakes fruitcakes and gives them away to everyone. It's kind of a Southern Gothic kind of a story. I liked it. I haven't read it in a while, but I do remember thinking it was a pretty sweet story, kind of nostalgic. Truman Capote had as friends a lot of wealthy women in New York City. He called them his swans. And they told him all their secrets. And for One moment, I don't know what got into him, but he wrote an article that appeared in a magazine where he just ratted out all the secrets of the swans. He just told the world all the things that he was told in confidence. Well, not all the things, but enough things that one of them committed suicide. Am I allowed to say that on here? Let's see if it makes it. I forgot. I should have said unalived herself. I haven't been watching podcasts for 5 years for nothing. Okay, so the movie. The movie followed the book very close, without all the fascination for about Perry Smith. This is a little sordid, but many people think that Capote had a crush on Perry Smith. Anyway, none of that is in the. There's no feeling of that in the movie. It's just a movie that just tells the story rather quickly and rather well. So the book I give a 6 out of 10. Like I said, I was not happy to read all this information about this murderer, because as it turns out, his beloved Perry is the one who actually shot everybody, because Dick did not shoot anybody. And he's also the one who cut the throat of Mr. Clutter. So I don't know what the fascination was, but it was there. And the movie, I give it an 8 out of 10. Honestly, if you are, for some reason, interested in this old case of the Clutter family, I recommend you watch the movie and just leave the book aside. I don't recommend the book particularly. It's just full of bizarre information about a very sick person. And I guess in 1965, it seemed like that was a different time than now. But I remember I was alive in 1965, and I remember people talking about this case and the book. And it was the thing. Everybody wanted to read In Cold Blood. And on TV shows, like the talk shows, Truman Capote was there talking about his book. But not for me. So the book gets 6 out of 10. The movie gets 8 out of 10. And I think that's all I'm going to say about that. I am reading a very long book right now, and I'm about halfway through it, and I only have about 700 more pages to go. So it may be a while before I am finished with that long book, and I'm ready to make another video. Until then, why don't y'all go out and read a good book?